If it's Monday at 12:40, then it must be time for TPR Podcast Presents. I'm Austin Toy. Every week, we bring you selections from one of Troy Public Radio's 13 locally produced podcasts. Were you a gifted kid growing up? It's a label applied to students who show a higher aptitude for learning in one or more areas. But being gifted is not a golden ticket to success. Today's conversation comes from the Culture and Belonging podcast, hosted by Rich Ledet and Wendy Broyles. Rich and Wendy are speaking to Dr. Shirley Farrell, who has worked in gifted education for over 30 years, about some of the myths around gifted.
$31 years. Yeah, 31 years.
I don't look it, do I?
But what kind of changes have you seen? That's a long time to be in a career and focused on gifted education.
You feel like you take a step forward and then you take 2 steps back. Perception of gifted continues to remain the same. This is the only group of students in a school that everyone thinks they know who these kids are, and even in the college level, know who they are, when it isn't who they are. It is that they have misperceptions of them. So gifted brains are neurodiverse. They are wired differently. And just leaving them alone doesn't guarantee they're going to be okay. They need challenge. They need to learn something new every day, not be a teacher's assistant. I even had 4th grade boys ask me, do you have to go to college to be a teacher? Why does my teacher always use me to help everyone else?
Wow.
Out of the mouth of babes. But even at the college level, the students come in, sometimes gifted kids don't hit challenge in learning until maybe grad school or PhD.
Wow.
And so they're bored because they already know it, because they took it upon themselves to learn it. So that perception about them continues to be the same. Funding in our state has increased, but we are not fully funded for the gifted programs in K-12 schools. So that is a long, hard advocacy fight that I've been doing for 31 years with many, many others. It's just not me. I'm one of many who continues to go to the legislature and request this funding. Research continues to run very similar. We have issues in identification of gifted where underserved populations of EL speaking students, low poverty, rural, African American, Hispanic, Native American, or are under-referred. And we work very hard to help look at how gifted looks different within different cultures and what is valued. We've been doing a better job in our state, but we still have a ways to go. And to be honest, this is the same across the nation. This isn't an Alabama issue.
Wow. And when you say EL speaking students?
Oh, sorry. So EL students, English is a second language.
Okay.
So these are English language learners. Sorry.
Okay. No, that's okay.
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure I understood.
But you said that the gifted student is going to look different in different cultures, right? I want to press you on that a little bit. Like how do you identify a gifted student in the first place? But then, like, how do you deal with the cultural nuances?
So if you think of main culture and think of school, school is middle class. It's very writing, speaking, and speaking a certain way. So if you have kids who are EL or come from rural areas or from poverty where language has not been developed as much, then you need to look at what is going on. How quickly are they learning the subjects? How quickly are they applying it, looking at it? Usually these kids become sponges and they are going to be just flying through curriculum. But also let me stop and say, gifted could be in one thing. They may be gifted in math only, or it could be gifted in 2 subjects, or everything they do, including athletics and artistic ability.
Wow.
So in a gifted pull-out classroom, the diverse abilities and interest from all the students is the same difference that you would see in a general education classroom. And even their intellectual ability is different. You know, that blows the mind of a lot of people because they think you're gifted, you're golden, you can do whatever you want in anything you want, and you will make straight A's, you're going to be fine. And for a lot of our kids, there are issues with social, emotional. Their brain develops that academic cognitive ability, but other areas of their brain can lag behind, and the research is starting to show this, like organization is one that lags behind their typical age peers. And so, you know, understanding this, you're able to work with the students better.
I'm always interested in the extent to which research is informing, you know, the way forward in education, right? Are we making decisions in the classroom about the way we teach based upon the best research? And you've been in this field for over 30 years. So you've been able to see, I'm just guessing, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm assuming you've been able to see the changes, like what we've learned through our research. Are we actually applying that in gifted education? Are we lagging behind? Or are we, you know, are we at the tip of the spear?
So I will say in the general education classroom, there is so much pressure put on these teachers for making sure every child benchmarks, that the tendency is gifted kids, or at least the perception gifted, or in their area of giftedness, they're okay. They're already above grade level. I'm not worrying about them. I'm going to worry about the kids who I need to pull up. And yet these kids can get themselves in trouble. They will actually start underachieving and could drop out of school. About 20% of dropouts are gifted identified kid. But let me give you another statistic. This is from 1999. And it's still true today. If you go to prisons, about 20% of prisoners are gifted. So they have fallen through the cracks, and their potential has not been developed. We could be losing that cure for cancer, or, you know, near and dear to me, a cure for Parkinson's.
How much talent are we missing? How much are we losing to the incarceration system because we're not able to identify? That's what I'm hearing. I mean, there's and then the burden falls on the teacher. The burden falls upon the school system.
Well,
you
and
know,
the
to
parents.
pay attention to those. To pay attention to those details. Those indicators of what gifted is may not always be readily apparent.
And parents of gifted don't always know what to do.
Right.
And there are times, you know, the ballpark, or at least, you know, those teachers of us, you know, we talk about the ballpark because that's where all the parents talk and share information. But you have parents of gifted who are looking, their child has done something, or is, you know, they have no idea about what to do with what this child had done, and they're looking for their people who's been there and done that. And other parents will say, stop bragging that your child's gifted.
Yeah.
But they're not bragging. They need to find their people,
right,
so that they know what others have done or how to handle the situation.
If somebody listened to this whole conversation and they didn't get anything else from it, what would be that one thing that you want to make sure they take with them?
Help advocate for funding so that all students receive services.
Yeah.
So that even our gifted kids, they're not left behind because they already know it. That we need to continue their learning and move them forward as far as they will go. If you let them, they will do it.
Yeah.
And that gifted doesn't mean the golden ticket, the child's going to, you know, life is going to be perfect from here on out. It means we've got to push our sleeves up and we've got some work to do.
You can hear the full conversation with Shirley Farrell on the Culture and Belonging podcast on Spotify or at today.troy.edu/podcasts. I'm Austin Toy, and this is TPR Podcast Presents on listener-supported Troy Public Radio.